The first recorded effort by the new look Deep Purple was the infamous concerto for group and orchestra, a strange and ungainly musical hybrid designed by Jon Lord to feature both the music of a rock group and the supporting orchestra.
Not many rock musicians of that generation could really attempt something that difficult, scoring a concerto, and he had the ability to do that, and he worked with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and presented the show at the Royal Albert Hall, which was recorded live.
What it's indicative of is that period just after Sgt. Pepper, where rock bands felt that they could produce music that was seen as being as worthy or as important as classical music.
Although Jon Lord probably knew in his head what it should sound like, the twain shall never meet, in the sense that at that time most orchestras were full of musicians who, although they might, when they're drunk, admit to liking pop music, never played it.
The orchestra didn't take it that seriously, which rather upset John. He noticed later, when he saw a film footage of the concert, he saw a violin player rolling his eyes to heaven and obviously disapproving of the whole thing.
The Royal Albert Hall, of course, in those days as well, always had a dreadful sound. I played it several times, and it was only in the last few times that they managed to sort out the sound. Most people, when they go and play the Royal Albert Hall, play far too loud, and it just keeps flying back at them. The sound just reverberates and bounces off everywhere. The best thing to do in the Royal Albert Hall is play quietly. Very difficult when you're Deep Purple with a full orchestra behind you.
I mean, if you hear a symphony orchestra playing, it's obviously very... Even at their loudest passage, it's nowhere near as loud as one note on a bass guitar. So trying to merge the two, so you had the orchestra playing the first movement, and then the band would come in and play, and of course everybody jumped when, as soon as Ian Pace hit his snare drum.
A lot of the things that the fans don't like about it is the extended orchestral sections, which if you break down and study, follow a lot of the musical lines and the motifs that Lord and Blackmore used later on. Very Wagnerian at times. The third movement, the famous third movement, I think is the most successful part of it, with some absolutely great string writing, long chromatic runs, 16s, semiquavers, a lot of the tricks that Lord later used to employ in his improvised solos on stage.
Is gone out. How can I hear when you speak so silently?
It must have been a very strange induction for Roger Glover, the bass player, and Ian Gillan, the singer, to come into the band and then be faced by this, great bit of pompous classical stuff.
Gillan particularly has been quite scornful of it since, because he acknowledged the fact that they didn't give themselves enough time to do it. So Jon Lord was up all night for about a week or so, supposedly writing this score, and then rushed it in because they had time booked with the orchestra to present it.
It was sort of like a bridging gap between children and parents, I think, at the time, and which is a good thing. But sadly, the album was a bad thing.
Although the reviews tended to be rather mixed, and today people dismiss that album. They, certainly hardcore rock fans don't understand it or don't really like it very much. But it was a brave experiment.
Rockin' to the east and west, hard-headed woman and a soft-hearted man. Cause the trouble since it all began. Take a little rice, take a little bands, rock and roll down in New Orleans. I'm a speed king.
Deep Purple in rock was the real thing. This was the album which signalled to a waiting world that the new look Deep Purple meant business. The band, almost overnight, had developed a new heavy rock sound which kicked straight into action with the mighty Speed King, which soon became a stage favourite.
Speed King, you gotta hear me say, I'm a Speed King. See me home.
Playing rock was something that I got fed up with playing with classical orchestras, and I thought, well, this is my turn. So John was into more classical. I said, well, you've done that, I'll do the rock. Whatever turns out the best, we'll carry on with. And I said, if this fails, this record, then I'll play with orchestras the rest of my life.